another check-in on the explore.org Seal Island puffin cam. The camera in Burrow 59 is showing us a little puffin family. Adults Millie and Willie are caring for a little puffling in there.
That puffling, named Amma, is doing great by all accounts. Project Puffin reports that Amma has gotten more adventurous, flapping its stubby wings, poking around the various crevices in the burrow there. They say the bird has roughly doubled in size now, thanks to the meals of haddock, sand lance, and butterfish. One regular puffin cam viewer counted 6 meals yesterday.
Good for her. There are other birds on the islands, of course. Here's an adult Leach's storm petrel. Researchers say these birds spend their days foraging at sea, returning to the island under dark of night. They also say the birds are known for their unique chattering calls and pleasant, musty smell. And we had a chance today to sit down with the Director of Conservation Science for the Audubon's Seabird Institute, which runs Project Puffin. Don Lyons told us a big part of why they pay this much attention to puffins is because not too long ago, Maine's population had all but dwindled to a handful of birds through hunting and harvesting. Humans liked their meat, and their feathers were popular adornments for hats. Other birds, like seagulls and eagles, were attacking the puffins. So Lyons explained to us how the Audubon actually got involved and why.
Puffins tend to come back to the place where they were reared themselves. So if you lose a colony, it doesn't very commonly restart. It really takes an intervention or a very long time, decades or perhaps longer, before a colony might restart. So at the time, 50 years ago, there were healthy colonies, there still are, healthy colonies of puffins in Canada. So chicks were brought down to begin that reseeding process. And it was really important that the biology of puffins was well understood. Puffin chicks, it turns out, don't need support from their parents after they fledge. They're fully capable and independent. They learn how to forage, catch fish on their own. Then they can grow up, mature, get really good at catching fish, can attract a mate after a few years, and begin to nest themselves.
How big is the population now that you're taking care of?
We have roughly 3,000 puffins. About 2,500 of those nest on islands where Audubon works.
And why is it so important for the Audubon to be involved and to protect this species?
If we don't manage their habitat, avoid islands becoming vegetated over, or if we don't protect them from predators like bald eagles, which we can protect them from just by being present on an island. If we give up those steps, then kind of the other effects we as people, as a society, have on these island ecosystems will cause us to lose puffins again.
You have biologists who live on some of these islands, and some of them through the summer, with these birds. What are they studying? What are they doing while they're there?
So they undergo a lot of sacrifices, but they get to live amongst birds and really study them. And that helps us understand how many birds are there, how many puffins and some of the other species we work with, what they eat. And that's become a really critical part of understanding what's going on in the ocean. But puffins and other seabirds are out there sampling, catching fish every day. So I like to think of them as another great research team that's out there studying the ocean for us.
Is there still much more that needs to be learned? What would you still like to learn about them?
The ocean here is changing. The Gulf of Maine is changing more rapidly than perhaps any other place in the global ocean, really warming quickly. And with that comes a lot of changes in what fish species are present and how abundant they are. And the puffins are really telling us about those changes. And that'll be very helpful to understand how those changes will impact puffins, but also the broader ecosystem. We're very capable of saving puffins and saving wildlife. Puffins are just an example of what we can do when we set our minds to it, when we focus on that, and a great example of hope. But it needs that focus and that commitment to holding on to species. We can if we are intentional about it.
We also spoke with Don Lyons about the damage the winter storms actually did to the islands, not just to the human infrastructure, but the puffins' homes. Hear more about that another day here on News Center Maine at 4. Really interesting conversation to learn what they're studying and why.
And how the numbers have changed so much over the years.
Oh yeah,
Not to mention
hugely.
They're just beautiful creatures. Show me all the video you want of the puffins.
Beautiful.